Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MNW Firing Line, your guide to Multiverse Nexus Wrestling. I'm your host, Jerry Aldini, and with me, as always, is Pete McPherson.
Hello.
And we're here once again to bring you the ins, the outs, the happenings, and even the shenanigans of MNW.
Shenanigans.
They're always shenanigans. Shenanigans. And thank you to
shenanigans.
Burnout Vaughn for the Tier 1 sub, the 14-month, with a message that, for reasons between he and I, will not be read out loud on stream. It's an in-joke. It's totally in-joke in private between us. That's what I'm saying. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Thank you, Vaughn, and we'll have words later. How are you doing today, Pete?
Oh, hanging in there, hanging in there.
Yeah, me too.
How about yourself?
But you know what today is?
Tuesday? No, wait, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. It's also April 15th, and you know what that means?
Tax day?
That too. No, it's April 15th. It is the traditional, it's the Ides of April, the day that WWE trims the roster.
Yes.
Yes, just as you can expect.
For budgetary reasons.
For budgetary reasons. Just as you know the Christmas season has begun when Wizards of the Coast lays off staff, so you know it's tax day when WWE releases a whole bunch of wrestlers.
Currently, we are sitting at 9.
9, yeah. Who has been put on the block?
Right. Well, so as I see in front of me now, also a lot of these names, a lot of this information is coming from gentleman Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful. The current list sits at Samoa Joe, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickey James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Bo Dallas, and Wesley Blake. Now, that same person that broke that story is saying that he believes more are on the way. More releases.
So we'll see. I mean, there's a couple names on there. I'm not surprised to see Kalisto or Bo Dallas, to be honest. And Mojo Rawley apparently just got added.
Okay. There you go.
I'm hearing from sources. Matrix. So, like I was saying, Samoa Joe surprises me just because of his profile, but, you know, he's not able to wrestle at the moment, so I guess that was a part of what happened with him, but I would be highly surprised if one of the other bigger organizations doesn't snatch him up fairly quickly. Also, I agree. I'm disappointed the Iconics are on there, because I feel they were done dirty by the Fed.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a great tag team, and then, let's break them up. And it's like, they worked best together. And neither of them were as successful apart as they were as a team. So my suspicion is whoever ends up picking them up will pick them both up.
Well, and that's one of the great things right now is that you have AEW, you have Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan. There are fortunately, a lot more options nowadays as to where to go, and it still be a feasible career.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was surprised to hear Kalisto was still on the roster.
Yeah, well,
I was like, oh, really? He didn't get let go already? I'm surprised. I think the only other name I would put, well, now that I've heard about Mojo, but before I move on, the only other name I feel has any significance in there is Bo Dallas. And that's only because he is Bray Wyatt's brother.
Yep.
And
well, clearly, look at the Hardys. Nobody's cared about that.
Yeah. No, that's a fine point. It's a fine point. So, well, with that, as interesting as all of that is, We are not here to discuss the WWE roster. No, we are here to discuss the MNW roster. And so let's kick it off with Friday Night Flashbang. And this is the first show since Breakdown 6 where so much happened, including we have a new interdimensional champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Citric King.
Greetings, Flashbang! It is I, your new interdimensional champion, the Citric King. And I am very proud to have taken that belt off that piece of garbage Earl King. And I'm also proud for another reason, because I get to take it off this piece of crap show. That's right, it doesn't have to be toiled away on the B show anymore. I get to take it back to Warzone, where we can feature it and put it in pay-per-views and let all of the future Hall of Famers, get to fight over it. So it was like two birds in one stone, and, it feels good to be able to rip it from the hands of Earl King and simultaneously be able to give it some prestige and some...
Whoa, hold up there, Home Slice. Now, we all appreciate what you were able to do for us. We appreciate that you bailed us out, but you didn't win that belt alone. Helix went through a grueling match, and I know he's your buddy and all, but let's not forget that Graven and the Troll Train, Tiki, is back. That's the reason you even got the jump on Earl King, so maybe let's calm this down a little bit.
Oh, hey, Bulldog. Yeah, so maybe I didn't make myself clear. So it's not that the belt couldn't be on Flashbang. It's just that all of you guys would need to be better wrestlers for it to matter as much. So it's not that you guys are bad. It's just that you're not as good. Maybe I didn't convey that well enough. Sorry.
Okay, well, let me let you in on a little secret, Citric. That's not how we do things on this show. And quite frankly, if you're going to disrespect our belt like that, then I'm going to issue you a challenge. How about you put that belt on the line here tonight? Because if this is the way you're going to act, it has no business being around your waist. Not after the legacy that Wiley built for it, who, by the way, can't even walk yet.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of his own fault, and I don't really care about dragons or dungeons or bulldogs or tigers or fake kings, because we are in the juicy era. And if you want to go ahead and get yourself juiced, cabron, believe me, I have no problem making it happen for you.
You know what? On behalf of Flashbang, I'd like to welcome you to the show, if you don't mind. Oh, and a headbutt, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Generics, and I am ringside with Hey Mr. Rabbit. Rabbit, we got a brawl to start the show. Backcracker right out of the gate.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, the side of Citric King I didn't think we'd ever see.
I guess that's it's just the effect that Flashbang has on him.
I guess, and Bulldog stepping up and challenging him. That was, and that will be the main event of the evening. We would learn later that the Bulldog Grant Martin challenging the Citric King for the Interdimensional Championship and an effort to keep it on Flashbang. But be that as it may, but it was time for to kick off the first match, and as is the Flashbang tradition, it's a showcase match. This time featuring the Cyber Controller, the Doof, Gitsu Hero, the still poisoned Blight Hallis, the orkiest orc that ever orked in wrestling, Nitzig Gunk Gobbler, the Lone Ranger Dragoon, and Sir Percival, one half of the Princedom. I haven't seen his partner in a while. And the newest recruit to the Flashbang roster, Lionel Matrix. Been trying to get a little copy on Matrix. Apparently he's a preacher or a man of religion.
Huh?
It's what I've been hearing. It's what the scoop I've been getting. What religion? We're not 100% sure yet.
Who do you like in this, Rabbit? You have good
You've got Gitsu and the Doof looking for, first wins. You've got the Cyber Controller looking to maintain his dominance. And speaking of dominance, suddenly, oh no, not again. It's the T-pose.
The Petruvian Man T-pose.
And it's weird because, correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we had a T-pose incident, it was Dragoon then, wasn't it?
Ooh, that is true.
I think Dragoon might be cursed with the T-pose. We all know there was the accusation that it was Zherakas' fault. Maybe it wasn't just a spell. Maybe it was a curse, or maybe remnants. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know this magic. But yeah,
I'm sure there's a joke in Final Fantasy about dragoons being cursed with T-posing.
Yeah, possibly.
Werewolves, orcs, and ballroom dancers. Oh my!
And then we have Lionel Matrix stalking the Lone Ranger himself, Dragoon. Meanwhile, we have Gitsu Hero. Gitsu Hero determined to take out the Cyber Controller. When you're looking for your first win, I suppose the order of business would be take out the most dangerous man in the ring, or in this case, the most dangerous entity in the ring.
Person, place, or thing.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing we forgot to mention. Apparently, part of the magic or curse, it rewrote the match to be a one fall, not the traditional elimination that you find in a showcase.
Curiosa and Curiosa.
However, it still was listed as a showcase match and counts as a showcase win for Dragoon. And as we know of late, the people are paying more and more attention to people's records in showcase matches. And
now, Dragoon, correct me if I'm wrong. I know he was recently somebody that was involved in a Get Off the Schneid match. I'm trying to remember, did he manage to get off the Schneid before this win?
He was not the winner of that Get Off the Schneid match. No, your memory is correct. He did recently. He didn't join House Caliban, but it is more fair to say he is aligned with House Caliban. And that happened at the Breakdown 5 with that Survivor Series match. But he now is joined the ranks of multiple showcase winners. So right now we have 8 individuals who have 2 showcase wins each. Along with Dragoon, you have the Curator, Huge Mane, The Madness, Suicide Gemini, Brandon Boss, Lasume01, and Matt Baker. Of course, we have in the much more lauded 3 showcase win category, Mad Jester Fool, Fuck Him Wang, and the Aristocratic Canid. And then finally, with 4 official wins, since the book was kept, the king of the showcase matches, Big Rock. It's worth pointing out at this stage, we have enough 2 showcase winners to fill a showcase.
Ooh.
Now, I would never dream of suggesting a match to the brass at all. I'm just saying it's interesting and could be a thing. But of course, after tomorrow night, who knows who's going to be in the showcase, and who knows who is going to possibly join the multi-winner ranks.
Well, who knows?
Well, I mean, the bookkeeper knows who got the records, but who knows?
The Shadow. Shadow.
Oh,
knows.
Okay. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, you're right. Well, no. That's the evil in the hearts of men.
True.
Now, what Shadow knows is very specific. If this were a match about the evils and the hearts of men, I would absolutely go with the Shadow. But no, this is just who's going to win the next showcase match, and that's not going to be the Shadow.
Wouldn't apply. Not applicable in this case.
Not at all. So.
Fair.
Although he might be able to help people who need assistance in writing proper heel promos. Anyway,
like Caliban, I noticed a hint of salt there.
The fact that we actually went above game for a second inadvertently, yeah.
No idea what you're talking about.
I need to Anyway, Pete, let's get back into the show. So the next after that match, so a lot's been going on. Let us not forget how Citric King got that belt. He won it off of the Fey King, Earl King West, but there was some help, in part from the chocolate zombie, Graven.
Earl King is the damn threat, and he always has been. For all this talk about Nero, Earl King's been the threat, but I think we got him. Like, Fate's whole job was to make sure that Earl King couldn't screw with the multiverse, and now that we've ripped that title from around his waist, and I guess put it around the waist of an equally bad monster for different reasons, but that's neither here nor there. We did it. Like, that was the goal. The problem is, now I see the new monster on the horizon. I see the championship around the waist of the next man. That's probably going to be the biggest problem, and it's you, Nero. It's you, and it's your reign of terror. I don't give a damn about this new leaf that you're trying to turn over. Now, I paid a price for healing Tiki, and right now, I'm not in a condition to fight you, but I am putting you on notice. When I'm back to 100%, when I figure out how to fix what's wrong with me, you can rest assured that I'm coming for you. Because it's been way too long, the 64-man tournament, the last time I got my hands on that belt.
So a lot of interesting things there. Obviously, Graven, basically Graven saying job done as far as dealing with the Empire. I mean,
so it would seem.
I don't know if everyone would agree, but I mean, he did humble the Fey King, so there's that. Setting his sights on Nero, I mean, let's face it, Graven is a top contender. His performance in the 64-man in that final match, that speaks a lot. He makes good points, but that's not what I'm interested in. He had to pay a price? I mean, that makes sense, but he talks about the price and he talks about paying it means he's not in a condition to wrestle right now. And fixing what's wrong with him? I have questions. Many questions. Also tweeting out on social media, it's our old friend Scott E. Stevens. Nero hasn't turned a new leaf. The fans are just turned a blind eye to his past and current dealings because they're being busy being mad at me about Rabbit's suspension. You know what? That I hate that. I hate what Scott just put out. You know why I hate it?
Poor capitalization.
I hate when he's right.
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
You know what? It's I when he's here, I will be cordial. I will be a professional. I will not engage as Eric sometimes does. I will try and keep it even. But what's bad about that is he's not wrong. It's about the fact that Nero hasn't turned over a new leaf. He absolutely hasn't turned over a new leaf. Scott's completely right about that. It's just they get confused about the odd friendship he has with Rabbit. But you know what? I have a counter for that. I also am friends with assholes.
Yeah, me too.
So, just because I'm somebody's friend doesn't mean they're not an asshole. So that's, just because Rabbit's friends with Nero doesn't mean he's he's a good person.
Some of my best friends are assholes.
Yeah, so you know that's just how it is. Yeah. So anyway, you know what? All right. So before we can move on with the show, I have to tell you, we got a tape was sent and it was listed as from a fellow journalist.
Oh yeah, that never goes badly.
Yeah, so we're just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna play, and it has a graphic. I'm just gonna play it now, folks. You may not have heard of this. There is it's a bit of tape from what is normally a print media. So this is from the Wilson Observer.
Hello there. This is Ryan Belaveres of the Wilson Observer newsletter. Mr. Wilson, how do you feel about being robbed of the trio's title by Kane and, Okay then, this has been Ryan Belaveres of the Wilson Observer newsletter, and I guess we got our answer.
So I guess, yeah, I guess he's still...
You know, there are points in a man's life where something happens and he can no longer look back. He's ostensibly a different person than he was after seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, anyway,
yeah. Anyway, part of the reason that we played that is since Doom is now the Trios champions, they are looking for competition. They have put out the call. They said so right here last week on Firing Line that they were going to look to the teams on Flashbang to find the trio that deserves a shot at their belt. And they made it an open challenge. A lot of people stepped up. A lot of people stepped up. So it was decided to have those people have matches with each other and let the cream rise. And before we get into that, on social media, we're hearing from Graven, oh, and if you thought Scott was a pain in your ass, Apex, just wait until I'm back in the ring. He might tap you out, but I straight up break jaws. And Scott, if you want to dispute me, go ahead. I'll have to go through you to get to Nero. So if I have to go through to get to Nero, so be it. Okay. I see social media is heating up. Meanwhile, the first trio to come out is AAA. Being represented by Slamphibian, Otoro Elzul, and Sheepy. And they take on the Guild. Zach DeWeaver, the Curator, and Lasume Owan. And a lot of people, a lot of discussion as soon as this match, people realized was a declaration that this match would probably come down to Lasume and Sheepy. Because, I mean, they are the power players for their teams. Not to discredit any of the other wrestlers. They're all fine wrestlers. But you're looking at this, you're looking at those three. Or those two, sorry.
Well, and it's a shame because you would think at least surface level that Otoro Azul would be in that ranking.
Well, and here's the thing. Otoro is a fine wrestler. I mean, he's taken on Kevin Blackwell. I mean, he didn't win, but he's done well. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, on both their teams, when it comes down to a victory, if they're in the ring, it's usually either Sheepy or Lasume who is delivering the final move. They are the backbone of their respective teams. Now, this is in these matchups. I almost think this was the fairest thing they could have done, because if El Pollo had been in there, it would have, I think, weighed matters far more in AAA's favor. That's not good. So, oh, and on social media, it's Maximilian Thunder Thighs. Max would like to inform for the Trios title holders, Doom. Max, would be more than willing to fight the trios title 1 versus 3 the next time faction wars happen. Prepare for max damage. Okay, Max, I think we have to explain to you how trios work.
Has Max been cleared by medical?
Well,
and I mean that in not just a physical sense?
That's a great question I am not qualified to answer. We should talk to somebody with it. Maybe we can get Dr. Caliban on the line. He has a degree in psychiatry as well as his MD. So, I don't know who clears for Warzone, to be honest. I hate to think it was Grim.
Yeah, that'd probably not be the best decision.
No, but
or maybe it would be the best decision. I think it's probably going to be a polar opposite. It's going to either be one or the other. It's no gray in that.
But there you see here we get Sheepy gets Lasume in a hug it out. And that's it. That's all they wrote. And so I don't know that this was certainly, I don't believe was an officially declared tournament, but I guess in the rankings and the consideration of who gets to take on Doom for those titles, AAA has moved up the ranks. Oh, and I'm telling you, social media is hot tonight, Pete. Hard luck.
I was noticing that.
Or Scott E. Stevens is tweeting out again, with all due respect, Graven, unlike you and all the other would-be contenders, I will get my shot at Nero when the brass determines it. Don't jump the line. I am the line.
Sounds familiar. I swear I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, I know it sounds familiar. Well, it's interesting actually that we just got that social media tweet from the gentleman, because after I read this tweet from Maximilian Thunderthighs, we're actually going to go hear from the gentleman himself. Well, from him in the ring last Friday. But first, Max is tweeting out, Scott is the line. Makes sense. His matches are like the promos, are like his promos drawn out. Right. You know what? Let's go ahead and listen to what the gentleman had to say last Friday.
For those of you that don't watch Firing Line, and you really, really should, I'm the star, I was not aware that Labras was attacked by my friend Jack Andrews. I haven't seen him since he escaped the hospital when I went to visit him. So I had no recollection of those events because I also had a concussion. And while I'm doing much better now, I don't even remember the end of that match. People told me that I won, and so I watched the tape back and saw not only did I win, but apparently there was indeed some controversy. But the bottom line is, I told you what was going to happen, and then it came to pass. So I already know where this conversation is going. You are looking to get your hands on Nero, and on that, we very much agree. But, unlike you, I have actually been in the ring with Nero. I know what he is capable of, and I have seen just how ferocious he can be. Here's the other thing you know, is how to lose to him, because that's what you did inside that chamber. And don't give me your excuses of, oh, he came out last, and whatever that nonsense was. You had an opportunity, and you screwed it up. Why should you get a shot at Nero before I do? I don't even want to deal with Satiris, because Nero is the prize. Cut the head off the snake, and the body dies. Then I'll tell you what, Stevens. Why don't you prove that what went down between us wasn't a fluke? You probably don't have the balls to do that, but I'm still going to go after Nero, because I'm going to be the one to end his streak and take his belt. And if you get in my way, I have no problem choking you out. And if you get in my way, I have no problem making you tap out. It doesn't matter how I get the job done as long as I get the job done. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with Nero, because unlike you, I will do what is necessary rather than this whole good guy shtick that you seem to be putting up. I have been nothing but respectful. I have been nothing but a class act. I have taken advantage of opportunities, yes, but I have done it the right way. So before you lecture me on what decorum a gentleman like me should have, remember, I'm the one that's getting the job done against Apex, not you. So go whine about your track record to somebody else Oh, and we're brawling, folks.
Brawling again.
We're brawling on the outside. Oh my God, and Stevens. They just pulled that off the announce table.
So that's that's interesting. I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah. That is a thing.
I mean, El Pollo's not wrong. El Pollo, I mean, AAA Animals Against Apex always, but Scott's been bringing it to him. It's he makes a point sometimes, and it's he's anyway. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Now, before we move on, actually, I'm gonna let me do a little on the fly change there. Okay. Now, next up, of late, many people have been issuing open challenges. And that, some people felt they needed something to give themselves a little boost or to make points. We of course saw the open challenge at Breakdown 6 with House Caliban that was answered by both Vaporwave, of course, and interestingly Nakama Worldwide. And we've seen many before, but right after Breakdown, there was an open challenge issued by Alexis Edmonton. And very interesting, the person who picked up that gauntlet, well, it wasn't Apollo Hades. Somebody actually got there before him. And that someone, well, it's Alexis Edmonton taking on an old rival, Aurelian Starhand, leader of the Rebel Star. So it's the mercenary versus the rogue trader. And they have had matches in the past, and I guess Starhand felt he had a point to make. And if Alexis was going to step up, he was going to be there to meet her. Also, Pete, I guess since Alexis has... I was never sure. She was always one of the, I felt, satellite members of Fate, much as Starhand was a satellite member of the Empire.
Right. Well, I mean, in general, with their line of work, that's usually a general assessment with these kind of, mercenaries.
Now, on the other hand, let's not forget that while a lot of people credit, rightfully, I would say, Graven with dealing with the issues with the Empire surrounding the creation and what happened to him, it was Alexis Edmonton who actually recovered the brain.
This is true.
I mean,
it was a very huge moment.
Yeah, I mean, she was doing so as a commission from the Chocolate Zombie, but she was in fact the person who got the job done.
Yep.
And later met with Dr. Caliban and Jagger Blackthorn to assess information about that brain, and she was the one that revealed that the brain that the Empire had put in the creation's body was that of the beast Hyrule.
Correct.
Which is still a question, since we know the beast's body is out there somewhere. And maybe that's part of what the rogue trader had issue with, that Alexis made his employers look bad, and maybe he felt that reflected on him.
Well, that's certainly a possibility.
But no matter what way you slice it, this in the end, it's you have two wrestlers in the ring competing against each other, and one of them has to win. And in the end of the day, in this match, the 3 count goes to the captain of the Rebel Star, Aurelian Starhand. And with this, and especially since it was an open challenge, this leads to several questions. What does this mean for Aurelian? And conversely, what does this loss of the open challenge they issued mean for Alexis Edmonton?
Yeah.
And
going to be interesting to see what how they come back from this.
It will indeed. It will indeed. Speaking of one of the individuals that Alexis confirmed, well, actually first on social media. Oh, it's Kathgina saying, Jerry, I like you and Pete. We're glad. Thank you, Lady Catherine. We're happy you appreciate us, and are in no way threatening us with blood rage. I think I speak for Pete when I say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, however, interesting we get that social media tweet from the Lady Fae, because the person that we hear next from the ring was her recent opponent, that, of course, being the Omni Slayer, Jagger Blackthorn.
But much like Graven, I would like to point out, the last time I had an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship, I was also in that fatal four-way match with Graven after the conclusion of the 64-man tournament. It was us two, Ginger and Wilson. Don't think I forgot. And after that match that Artemis put on with Nero, I think I figured out what Nero's weakness is. I've been watching him like a hawk every chance that I've had when I haven't been doing something dealing with this Empire of Terror nonsense. And Nero, I think I got your number. Because that's the thing. I beat you in that tournament. Or did you forget? Yeah, it might have been a count out, but it was the first time you had ever tasted a loss. And I think I could keep your shoulders down for a 3 count. That assumes that you actually step in the ring with me. You see, while El Pollo and Scott E. Stevens debate against which one of them should have a shot, not only have I been in the ring with you, but I've beaten you. And I'm sure you'd love to clear that up, wouldn't you? I'm sure that eats at you that you've never been able to get past the Omni Slayer. And I promise you, if you give me an opportunity at that belt, if you don't shy away from my challenge, I will make you pay for it. Now, that being said, Kathgina, you're going to get the explanation that you want, but you won't get it tonight. You'll get it next week. But after that, this is over. I've got bigger fish to fry. So saith the Omni Slayer.
Okay, so that is 3 promos in a row that leave us with 4 individuals challenging or stepping up, saying they deserve a shot at Nero Napier. And 4 people all making good cases.
Yeah, a lot of people would put Nero in their sights.
Well, Graven and Jagger, of course, have the fact that they were the original contenders for the belt, along with Wilson, the son of Will, who is no longer on the roster, or Ginger Boy, also no longer on the roster. So that does pretty much leave them as 2 of the original contenders who've never had another shot. They're very right in that. And then, of course, Scott and El Pollo make the great point that they've been bringing it to Apex for, El Pollo for well over a year, and really with Scott for at least half a year, if not longer. Whenever, since Rabbit's suspension. So yeah, there's a lot of they bring a lot of weight. I guess we'll have to see how that comes through. In the meantime, let's get back to the question of who will end up facing Doom for the Trios Championship. And this next one, well, in a lot of ways, no surprise. In fact, I'm surprised we didn't see some of it sooner. First off, you have Fabulous, and all coming out as individuals. Joseph Cowman, of course, the ballroom dancer, Sugarfoot Iron, and the power player of Fabulous, Fuck Kim Wang, taking on the team of Vaporwave, Apollo Hades, Rico Rose, and Aqualung. And as we've been saying, if there's an open challenge thrown out, there you will find Apollo Hades. If somebody's going to present him with an opportunity, he's going to lunge at it. But with
any kind of challenge,
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I think because of this, the only reason that he didn't take up Alexis Edmonton's challenge is he had already taken this one. So this makes perfect sense. Although I'm sure he was in his head thinking, I could do double duty, which of course the brass doesn't like. So. But either way, you've got but as I was saying earlier, a lot of people were questioning, well, who's going to have the upper hand in this match? And in a multi-man match, I honestly will usually favor for Kim Wang. I mean, Wang is one of the three-time showcase winners. He
one of the harder members to beat.
Absolutely, they have shown time and again their effectiveness. And if you look at victories of Fabulous, if Wang's been in the match, Wang has been the deciding factor. So when people ask that question, that's my first thing is Wang in the match? Then you gotta kind of lean the odds into the favor of Fabulous. On the other hand, Vaporwave has been making quite the name of themselves. I think the biggest difference with Vaporwave is no one member of that team stands out over the rest. But they're all solid wrestlers.
It's a very balanced lineup.
It's true, although they are also all more relative newcomers. Most of Fabulous are Flashbang originals. Joseph Kalman was on the first night of the show. All of them were in the 64-man tournament, which is definitely how our historians make the dividing line of who are considered the Flashbang originals.
Yes, that is largely considered the line.
Yeah. And that doesn't. And before anyone gets pedantic, that doesn't include the guest stars. No one is considered. Oh, and that's. However, as we said, Vaporwave does get the victory. I was about to go off on a little history tangent, and we almost missed the fact Vaporwave wins. So, as strong a contenders as Fabulous were, Vaporwave managed to get that victory. I guess it makes me wonder who they're going to take on next. Are they going to be facing the winners of the last match? That, of course, being AAA, or is somebody? We still have a lot of trios on the roster. I have a feeling it's going to be a little while before we know who the final victor is going to be. And what I was going to say before we got to the end of the match, for those of you, I know you're out there. I like to call you the choir pedantic. Anyone who talks, so the 64-man tournament determines who is a Flashbang original. I am not counting King, Tiger Mask, or Black Tiger. That's Black Tiger. There, I'm getting tongue-tied. Certainly, certainly not counting Darth Maul or Scooby-Doo. No, the guest stars are a special category.
Indeed.
Now I can say Juice and Thunder Liger, but apparently I couldn't. It's like how sometimes Takahatsu trips me up. Sometimes words are hard. But I'll tell you somebody who words surprisingly aren't hard for. Spike of the Bone Warriors.
There seems to be a lot of challengers that want to step up to the Bone Warriors. That's right, we had 4 teams that thought they was good enough. And only 5. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Gemini and Mr. Manatee, what a fight it was. But alas, there was only so much that you could do. There was only so much that you could put up with before the Bone and Hammer took you out.
Yeah,
and now we need another fight.
Sorry, what?
We're doubled up on. Got an echo.
So I'll tell you what, Flashbang, we want some peace. And then I remembered back this little tournament that we had. Electro Reality, you still on that list. Ooh, and I tell you what, the Abyssal Void has caught my attention. You boys might be a little new, but we saw the way y'all's marched through that tag tournament. Very impressive. maybe y'all want to step up. And you know, I can't help but around. You know, Cedric King, you got a new belt around your waist, but why not try your luck at being a double champion? You see, you got an aesthetic that the Bone Warriors kind of like that is, if you can get your act together and get your boy Helix on the same page. Now, if y'all...
So there you have it, from the zombie himself.
Well,
go ahead.
A zombie. I was going to say we've got a couple of them.
We do have. I mean, he's he is, but you know, he's Bone Warrior. They've been.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, if they go all the way to Multivania, they will have been the champions for a year. So that's
1 full year. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's quite the accomplishment.
I mean, for a tag team in MNW, that's a record.
Yep.
Already, that is a record. No one has held tag belts longer than that. So on either show. Okay. Well, now, what happened next? So we have a lot of different ways that people will call each other out or issue challenges or do promos. We've heard, you know, people will come to the ring. People will do get a camera and a microphone and do backstage announcements. We have people that will go to special locations and record, but we've never had anyone post it on the corkboard before.
No, we had a corkboard.
Yeah, apparently we absolutely have a corkboard, and somebody made use of it. That somebody, of course, being Tiki the Troll, who posted this. Now, last Friday, Eric Generickson read this out, but I don't think that does justice to what this is actually a picture of the actual announcement that Tiki put up backstage on the corkboard with all of the other announcements. And I mean, there are both, occasionally you'll see dance lessons from both Sugarfoot or the Doof. Oddly, they seem to vanish a lot. I won't speculate why. But I'll just to read it out. This is a call out to TK from Tiki the Troll. I have heard you were calling out my buddy Johan. You know what? Fair. But I'm still calling you out. I mean, our names sound alike. I'm blue, you wear blue. The height difference, it'll be hilarious.
I mean, kinda.
So, and plus there's little drawings there's a little drawing of a cat-like creature. I'm assuming that's with the whiskers and not an odd spider. And then there's another one that I'm pretty sure is supposed to be Tiki on the other side. So, yeah. And so with that, the brass, I guess somebody, probably Lawson, saw this backstage, because how could you miss it? And went, oh, good.
What?
Let's use this. But not just a singles match. No, it's a tag match. Spectre Sonata, being represented by Bad CG Ghost and TK, are facing the Troll Train, being Tiki and Tigery. So this is first off, this is Tiki's first actual match back since being laid up for over a year in the hospital from being poisoned. But once he was cured, that troll regeneration kicked right in, and he looks the picture of health. And Tigery's first match since being freed from the being under the thumb of Earl King Wes. And there was a little confusion at first. The bell went off, and the match was awarded to Spectre Sonata. But apparently that was a mistake. Somebody rabbit kicked the bell, is what we hear. And so the match was quickly restarted once the ref realized there'd been an error. Well, the ref recalled it because he's like, I didn't call this match.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the ref himself was like, the hell are you people doing? He suffers enough. I mean, you can see here he was just knocked down. You know what? Our ref, who Mr. Rabbit affectionately calls Legs, he gets knocked out. He gets thrown around. He's been super kicked. He's been hit from behind. He's a trooper.
That's what I hear.
And these stories that Dr. Caliban has clone banks where he just pulls out another ref when one dies, I believe are completely unfounded.
Small, tiny, strong.
Travis, Tigre is both Tigre and Johan both separated from the Empire with Tiki's return.
Yeah. The whole reason they were even under the thumb of the Empire was as part of ensuring Tiki's safety. And when Graven was able to get the cure from Kathjina, that freed them, and Tigre just naturally went off, at least in this case, joining her husband's tag team partner. So I'd say at this point, actually, if you think about it, this means the Troll Train is now a trio. I would say they are three cars. Well, they are
three-car train.
You know, I don't want to speculate who the caboose is. I will say that this means I would say they could either be contenders for the trios champions or the tag championship. Either way, not only is it Tiki's first match back, but he scores the win for his team.
Well, that's a nice way to come back.
Thus does now you hear it officially. It's the Troll Train has come back and scored a victory. And that is and one more time, just it's so wholesome. I love this. You know, I just wonder, is it, we heard last week from Tiki on the call out with Joe Mojo, and now we see this. It feels like Tiki's come back. I think he's got not just back. He's got a new energy, one he didn't have before, and it's. I think everyone is sitting up and taking notice. I was trying getting information, and I did get a chance to speak to him in passing, and we didn't get to talk long. But all he said to me was, "Yeah, I guess being in a coma for a year was the best thing that could have happened to my career."
Not many people get to say that.
No, not really. Well, now
most people don't want to say that, but
that's that is also true. But I mean, let's face it, everyone's talking about Tiki, and he has definitely found came back and is making an immediate splash to the point of you're just going to notice him. And yeah, we have a whole generation of fans who never saw him in the ring before, but he's here now, and let the festivities begin. Meanwhile, we are now at a point on the show. We every week we like to call out for Flashbang and for Warzone one of those regular audio promos as the promo of the week. By the way, there was discussion if Tiki's promo counted, and it was pointed out we do call this the audio promo of the week, and it was a piece of paper.
That could
and
get a piece of paper and crinkle it, for your dog.
It was there was discussion, and eventually it was just decided no, you can show it, but it's separate. So the audio promo of the week, and this a little different from normal. This actually isn't from one of our superstars, but from their family. So, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the family of the cult classic, Henry Colt.
Hello, is this thing record? Oh, alright. Hello, folks of Flashbang. You might not know me, but you might know of me. My name's Richard Colt, and my boy Henry has been following his dream and giving it his all in your organization for quite a while now. Not just for himself, but for all of us. He adored fighting for you. That last match against that monster Satirius has left him broken. Our boy our boy still hasn't woken up after Satyrus laid into him after the match. And the doctor's saying there's a good chance he'll never wrestle again. You see, he needs a special operation. Sorry. Yeah, I know, hon. It's an expensive operation, and it's one that, with our debts, we just can't afford it. We can only hope for a miracle for him, and we ask that y'all have our boy in your prayers.
And there you hear it. That is the father of Henry Colt with some dire news for the Colt Classic.
Yeah,
Our
shame to hear.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and we will keep you abreast of this story as it develops. In the meantime, there was another challenge that had been thrown out during the previous week, and that one was a challenge from Simon the Psycho to Demolition Fox. And now they have faced each other before. In fact, Simon's first defeat on Flashbang was at the hands of the Demolition Fox. And so this is why Simon came in what is now referred to as his true form to take on Demolition Fox in the ring. We've only seen this look of Simon's a couple of times.
Thankfully.
Yeah, the last time that really odd match with Jagger Blackthorn at Breakdown 5.
Right.
That I was in the audience that night at Breakdown. I just remember seeing a regular match, I think, but then looking at the tape later, it was weird.
I didn't notice that during his intro.
Thankfully, we didn't get any of that to this night.
No, this seemed honestly a lot more straightforward. In fact, with the look, I mean, it was a. I was worried. That's all I'll say. I now have the feeling I see Simon come out like this, and my first concern is, oh no, what now?
Yep.
And we're hearing Jagger Blackthorn actually refers to this as Simon's Apocalypse form. Jagger, of course, being Simon's opponent in that match at Breakdown 5. Even he's reported he's not 100% sure what happened. And here you have...
I think it's safe to say the only person that would be Simon.
Yeah. And I'm terrified to ask him.
Yeah, I ain't doing it.
I know, no. But there we one thing I will say with this, it does feel, I mean, just watching, the only way I could describe this is Simon is stalking his prey.
Who it would seem.
And this was, I don't know that Demolition Fox was just ready for what Simon's like when he's like this. I mean, give the Fox their credit. A great job. I mean, to the point of the referee had to go and check on Simon. Only it turns out Simon was playing possum. And which,
you know what a possum is?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, a good technique of a hunter is to lure in your prey.
Absolutely.
And after two splashes, well, I think off the top rope, elbow us, and then going to the top rope a third time. I mean, this was Simon. I mean, I think the first two were sufficient. He was making a point. Oh no! Wait a minute. Oh no. Pete, we're getting
I'm good.
I got a social media thing from Simon. Would you like us to explain this to you? We would have no trouble finding our way inside. That just unnerves me. I mean, Simon, the last thing I want is Simon fighting his way inside. That would just be.
But we are so happy to explain things.
Don't turn around, Pete. Just keep looking forward. It'll be fine. Yeah. So Simon, why did you choose to show that form in this match with Demolition Fox?
Oh, it is quite simple, really. Our form is something that we reserve for only prey that gives us an enjoyable time.
Oh, right. So, you know what? I fine, I'll ask. So at Breakdown 5, I mean, I was in the audience. I saw the match. It didn't see anything, but the tape was different. What happened?
Ah, that. Oh, it's quite simple, really. We were not the only one interested in Jagger. What you saw was simply the master deciding he wanted to meet Jagger.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. And and we'll be back. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I think he's gone, Pete. Okay, which one of us is going to turn around and look? Pete?
Not it.
Okay, fine. I'll look at it. Okay, yeah, we're alone. We're alone.
All right.
Great. We're gonna need a code S now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least Doom calls us.
True.
You know, Doom has the gives us. I mean, it's not much warning, but it's warning.
Slightly more comical.
Hey, our broadcast partner Joe Mojo. I've got a young priest and an old priest on standby. It's good to know, Joe. We'll keep them near. We'll let you know. Hey. Okay. Deep breath. Deep cleansing breath. Okay. Well then, with all of these people throughout the night coming forward and making declarations of wanting a shot at Nero and the title, it makes sense that the representative of the brass would want to come to the ring and set the record straight.
So it would appear that we have many challengers for you, Nero, and yet you are nowhere to be seen. I am appreciative of all of you taking the initiative, but at the end of the day, it will be the brass that decides who will contend for what. And Bulldog, that is why you got an opportunity. I appreciate that you stuck up for your show. Now, that being said, I can't help but notice there's Jagger Blackthorn, there's El Pollo de la Muerte, Scott E. Stevens. All of these men want to get their hands on you, Nero. Even Graven, who apparently is not medically cleared, wants to get his hands on you and your title. So now that we have a pool of contestants that I'm sure will only grow in the coming weeks, what the brass needs to do is take all of these suggestions under advisement. But that doesn't really make for an entertaining show. Debate and discussion in the back about who's contending for what. No, you're here to see wrestling. And that is what I am going to give you before your main event. You see, because coming up next, we are going to have an 8-man tag match. Apex versus Jagger Blackthorn, Artemis, El Pollo de la Muerte, and Scott E. Stevens. Because I like a little chaos. And if the four of you can coexist, it will go a very, very long way towards making your case that you deserve an opportunity at Nero Napier. So I would suggest you all work together. Oh, and Jack, I don't know where you are right now, but do us all a favor. Stay out of this one. I don't want to have to discipline you like I have so many others that don't know how to listen.
Well, there you have it. Lawson making a match to give, maybe shake out a little bit of who is and isn't an actual strong contender. But first, on social media, we once again hear from Maximilian Thunderthighs. Simon is good at hunting. He's so good, he walked into a thrift store and bought half the store with $20. Okay. As a person who's been a dedicated thrift store buyer in the past, I can share. Meanwhile, as Lawson had declared, a match of Apex represented by Labris, Crimson Phoenix, Revolos, and Zephyr Tail taking on the gentleman of MNW, Scott E. Stevens, familiar with all of those contenders, the Omni Slayers from Fate, Jagger Blackthorn and Artemis, and the Chicken of Death, El Pollo de la Muerte. So this an interesting matchup because, of course, Apex are a cohesive team. They've worked together a lot. And the other side, some of them don't even like each other all that much. I mean, Scott's the odd man out in a lot of ways. Certainly has his issues with El Pollo. And I don't think either of them have ever had any teaming up with the Omni Slayers before. In fact, I'd say the only cohesive members of that team would be the Omni Slayers.
Yeah, I think that's as close as you're going to get.
Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. As Jagger said when he was in the ring earlier, he's the only person that has any kind of victory in this grouping over Nero. Yes, it was by countout, but it was still a victory. The first person to ever have a victory over Nero. And on the other hand, the gentleman has been making his way through all the members of Apex, one way or another, for months. El Pollo, absolutely been a thorn in their side from the beginning. And then, of course, there's Artemis, the man who was sent to hell and had to claw his way back. So, yeah, an interesting team. I would say this was an interesting choice by the lawyer, by Mr. Lawson.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
I also noticed that Apex seemed to take a great opportunity. Oh, we've got Scott outside. Let's all take a shot at him. The thing is, they were too slow getting back in the ring, and I'll give Scott this ring awareness enough to go and tag in Artemis. Let's face one thing right now. Artemis's Hunter Lock has become one of the most devastating moves on Flashbang of late. It's every time it gets slapped on, it ends a match. Well, almost every time. And it's, it is enough of a go-to that you can just see the tactical logic of, all right, I'm too messed up to wrestle, but I have a chance to get Artemis in. Let's do that.
All right.
And there you have it. He gets the Hunter's Lock on. And that's it. Revolos taps out. And with that, actual decent tag team work from the four contenders, even though they're not fully familiar with each other, does lead to a victory for them and a chance to move forward with their claim of being able to go up against Nero Napier. And so now on the phone, we have the man who won that match, the man with what is rapidly becoming the most devastating move on Friday Night Flashbang. Ladies and gentlemen, the Omni Slayer, Artemis.
Hey, what's up, my people? How's it going?
Great. Now, Artemis, you've been on a great run of late. I mean, as we've said, the Hunter's Lock has become one of the most feared moves in professional wrestling. And after that, with that final tag from the gentleman, you were able to go in and take the gorilla down. So, how do you feel this stands for your opportunity at the belt? I mean, you were the only person in that match that didn't make a direct call out. And in fact, you had just had an opportunity against Nero. So how do you think that makes your standing for any future contention?
Well, let me say this first. I want to be very clear with this. Nero did beat me that night. I want to make that very clear right now. He beat me that night. And at the very least, I have to give him respect for that. But keep in mind, it's not over for me. It's never going to be over for me. Because as long as I'm still kicking and breathing, I'm going to go for Nero again. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next week. It may not be a year from now. But I'm going to go after Nero again. So, in the end of the day, all it comes down to is me proving myself, coming out every night and showing my worth.
That's strong words from the Omni Slayer, Artemis. Thank you, Artemis, and we look forward to seeing what's coming next for you. And yeah, here's hoping you get another shot at the belt.
Oh, one more thing.
All right.
You guys, when Scotty comes in here, would you let him know that to thank him, tell him that I'm thanking him for taking all those bumps and getting his ass kicked, because that was hilarious.
All right. We'll make sure that gets passed along. Thank you, Artemis. Oh, and look at that. Our phone's lighting up. It's hang on. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's our old friend right here on MNW Firing Line. It's the gentleman of MNW, Scott E. Stevens.
I heard that, Artemis. You might think that's funny, but it's not. Oh, okay, it is.
So, Scott, throwing your name out there as a number one contender, and you may not have been the one to get the final victory, but I mean, you were able to get that tactically significant tag in to end the match. I'm assuming it was a conscious decision going after Artemis.
Of course, why wouldn't it be? And yeah, you're right. I was instrumental to our team's victory in that match because nobody has taken the fight to Apex like I have. Nobody has as much experience with BPEX, as I called them in social media last week, than I do. I know what they can dish out, and I literally took one for the team last week. I wore them down, I tired them out, and that allowed my team to gain the upper hand.
All right, fair enough. So, Scott, I can't help noticing that it's been kind of a hot night on social media with you and several of the other wrestlers having some strong words for each other.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that, and let me address that as best I can. I have loads of professional respect for all the members of Fate, past and present. Because if nothing else, they've taken the fight to Apex in the past year more than AAA has. More than El Pollo and his little petting zoo. All right? For being a group that's got the word Apex and the word they're animals against Apex. And they've barely tried anything ever since I came around. Meanwhile, you've got members of Fate, left and right, who are supposed to be fighting against the Empire. They've been taking it to Nero and to the rest of Apex. So every time El Pollo comes out to the ring, and him interrupting me notwithstanding, every time he comes out and he runs his mouth about how he deserves the next opportunity at Nero because he's been fighting Apex longer than everybody else. Yeah, you started fighting Apex before the rest of us, but it's been at best an on and off relationship ever since I started my crusade against Apex. I have been going non-stop. taking the fight to them one at a time, week after week, show after show. And that is not something that El Pollo and his little miscreants can boast.
Fair enough.
So as far as Graven is concerned, you know, if you want to jump the line like everybody else, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I am content to wait my turn. I am carving my path to Nero my way. An honorable way, a classy way, if you will, by going through Apex one by one. Not because Nero told me to, like Earl King Westwood, not because the brass is telling me to, not because of any ultimatum that any other entity has placed on me, because this is the path that I have chosen. The point that I want to make is that Apex can fall, Apex will fall, and it won't be at the hands of some superhero or cyborg or mystical creature. Apex will be brought down by an ordinary man. And again, no disrespect to Fate. I appreciate what they've been doing. I appreciate the support that I've had from members of Fate in the past, including Henry Colt, whom I wish the speediest of recoveries. Flashbang is already worse in your absence. But I have no personal or professional issue with Graven. Take the fight to Apex however you want. I have no issue with Artemis and Jagger. Take the fight to Apex however you wish. I will get there my way at my time. And my time will be determined by the brass, as it always should be. That's why I don't come out to the ring week after week saying, oh, because I say so, I should be the one next in line to face Nero. No. By the time I come out and start asking, I won't need to, because I will already have proven that I can do what nobody else has been able to do and dismantle Apex one by one. And that is something that no one will be able to take away from me. No one will be able to deny from me. Like I said in my tweet, I'm not going to jump the line, because as far as I'm concerned, I am the line.
All right, and with that, thank you, Scott E. Stevens, and we look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
A pleasure as always. Good night, gentlemen.
All right, and
As long as he's not at the bar, I think we'll be fine.
Well, you know. With that, we have one last match, and of course, that's the match that was set up at the beginning of the program, and that is the Bulldog Grant Martin, accompanied by DeLuna, coming to take on the interdimensional champion, the Citric King, being accompanied by Jack the Questionable. And this is just, I mean, Citric, what the hell? Why Jack? I mean, Jack wearing still that disrespectful copy of Shere Khan's mask. And
it surely is questionable.
It really is. And it's especially questionable why Citric. I mean, here's the thing. Citric has always been a fan favorite. And now, as he had stated earlier in the evening, he is, at his heart, a dedicated shit poster and didn't feel the need to be nice to the Flashbang audience because, as he put it, he called it the B show. He felt he could to write it all he wanted, which Bulldog took exception to. And so Bulldog taking this chance to keep the interdimensional belt on Flashbang, because Citric has stated his plans are to take it to Warzone and defend it there. And that's I don't know, it was so strange. And then of course this moment here, you think, oh, and there's Jack, but yeah, decided to stay out of it at that moment. Now, usually this must be because usually you're the one who's doing some of the prominent coverage of Warzone, and yet here he is. here he is on Flashbang.
All right. Well, I mean, you know, sure, this certainly does seem unusual for how he behaves over in Warzone, but you know, I'm sure it's just, you know, just Flashbang, just having that effect.
Well, and you know, perhaps still the shades of faction warfare. Maybe, you know, I hate to say it, but maybe Citric taking a cue from, of all people, Trashman Jones. And taking advantage of that chair that Jack the Questionable threw in the ring, slamming his head on, and then taking the chair while Jack is distracting the ref, and hitting the Bulldog. And with that, you know, they're hitting the Sunny DDT, and then there's Jack with the chair, deciding maybe to it'd be a good idea to take out DeLuna while Citric gets the pin on Bulldog. So, I mean, I guess Jack has, you know, we know Jack's loyalty, whoever's paying him, certainly not to the brand.
Do we have any confirmation that that's the case, that it was Citric himself that paid for Jack's attendance?
I mean, at this point, we seem to have fair confirmation on that. That for once, this wasn't like backstage dealing by anyone else.
No mysterious third man.
No, this one seemed to be pretty straightforward. It's Citric, but you know, Citric finding the one person on the Flashbang roster who just didn't give a damn.
Yeah, so it would seem.
Yeah, and with that, that was the main event for Flashbang. So that leaves us with one last thing to do, and that is the Flashbang moment of the week. But first, ladies and gentlemen, here is a word from your sponsor.
I'm sure bored with all these tablets and iPhones occupying my attention all the time. Isn't there something to catch my dwindling attention span in these modern times?
Max damage!
Holy gee willikers, it's Maximilian Thunder Thighs!
That's right, children. Maximilian Thunder Thighs showing you my newest creation, the Maximilian Action Doll.
Wait, don't you mean action
With the Maximilian Action Doll, you can create your favorite scenes from the adventures of Maximilian Thunder Thighs, like Max versus Gore Wheel, or Maximilian in the Grand Battle, or Maximilian versus Wilson, Son of Will.
Is that a fucking recorder, Max?
So stop on by the MNW shop today to collect your very own Maximilian Action Doll.
Warning, this product is not yet tested and may come alive and start doing musicals in the middle of the night, causing symptoms like excessive singing and sausage fingers.
I'm the one that's getting the job done against Apex, not you. So go whine about your track record to somebody else. Oh, and we're brawling, folks!
Brawling again!
We're brawling on the outside! Oh my God, and Stevens! They just pulled that off the announce table!
Face through him. That's the power of face plastic.
I don't even know where El Pollo got that! And now all over the barricade!
Right into the chairs.
El Pollo having none of it!
No.
But we would be remiss if we didn't also take a moment to have that special feature, the MNWTF.
It is the absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Would you say you're maybe a little biased for the Apex guys? Oh, look out here! Look out here! We got magic in the ring!
Oh, well, we do got magic in the ring. There you go. They're asserting dominance on each other. Who's gonna give?
They sure are.
Who's gonna give? You can hear it. You can hear the tension. You can cut it with a knife. Look at that.
It's just
They're
one of those
looking at each
days,
other,
folks.
dancing.
And as we said, that's I hope Dragoon can get over this T-pose thing. But
and for those that are unaware, if you check out the MNW Discord firing line section, you will see a GIF version of that T-pose there that you can enjoy to your heart's content. Two versions of it. One includes the Vitruvian Man overlay.
Yeah. And hang on, I'm hearing. Do you hear snoring? Hang on, let me go open the door to the next booth. Hang on, let me get this. Wait. Joe? Hey, Joe. Joe.
What?
Joe,
What happened?
wake up.
What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the call. My name.
Joe, we have that queued up. Were you asleep in the next room?
Maybe.
Why?
He started talking.
Who?
Scotty.
But he was on the phone.
You've
been in there the whole time?
Yep.
Usually...
I have to be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that. I kind of have to be there just to do final touches to the call because I'm very meticulous.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, hey, well, it's that time.
Hey, how's it going?
So yeah, Joe, who do we have? What's the skinny on the call out this week?
So upon doing this one, I forgot how much of a storied past that this guest has, and I actually had to cut a lot of the content out because it was approaching like 15 minutes. So I had to skip a lot on it. It's definitely someone that you guys have heard on Firing Line and also in the show proper like 100 times.
All right. Do you want to lead us in?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this week's episode of the Call Out. Next week's is going to be I'll save that for after the show.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Call Out with Joe Mojo.
Thank you, Firing Line, and welcome back to the Call Out. My name is Joe. My next guest is a newly crowned Trios champion. He is 1/3 of Doom. He is the Night Reaper, Zherakas. Zherakas, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A Flashbang original, formerly a bounty hunter for the Inquisition, now 1/3 of the new Trios Champions Doom. For those who have never heard of you before, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, what about me? Well, not to reveal too much about who or rather what I am. I'm simply a demon who enjoys putting others to sleep and having fun with their dreams. And, of course, I enjoy some magic as well.
Is there any particular reason why you don't like to divulge about yourself?
I simply like to keep my cards to myself. And honestly, I'm also a bit of a fan of surprises. I will answer any question you ask. I feel like I can without it being too revealing.
That is very fair. We don't want to make a guest uncomfortable. But how about when you came to MNW? How did you come across this promotion?
Well, that was thanks to them. The Inquisition. Me and Mad Jack first joined the Inquisition because we heard they were hiring, and Doom being Doom, we decided to join them to raise hell elsewhere. When we joined, I adopted the alias of the Night Reaper, and when we arrived here at MNW, what is now Warzone, that is what I debuted as.
And is that where you and Mad Jack first met up?
That's a long story. But in short, science, magic, and ambition caused a portal to another universe to open, and I was thrown in front of Mad Jack due to it. Mad Jack, after a certain amount of time, saw the Reaper, and, well, we've been causing chaos ever since.
Back when the Inquisition was in power, people have stated that you and the branded Vacants were the dogs of the Inquisition. What was the major driving force with working for them?
Ugh, the Vacants. They were dogs. Never compare us to them. As for why we work with the Inquisition, well, why not? They needed help, and we wanted to have some fun.
Once the Inquisition was ran out of the Nexus, you and Mad Jack disappeared up until the start of Flashbang. What were you guys doing in the meantime?
Well, to explain that, we We're simply biding our time and getting ready.
Well, that came to be as you and Magic premiered on the very first episode of Friday Night Flashbang. Can you tell us what it was like going from Warzone to Flashbang?
It was strange, to say nonetheless. To go from Warzone, where the competitors were all fierce veterans fighters, to a place where the presence of those veterans was still there, but it wasn't the same extent due to the influx of new talent, really made things interesting. Of course, now, most of Flashbang are now skilled and well-experienced veterans and fighters like those on Warzone, which makes things always interesting.
Majak early on did have a bit of a rivalry with Ramoon, who at the time was representing the new Four Horsemen, culminating in a match with you, Majak, Wiley, and a returning Kane at the very first breakdown. What was the thought behind those two picks?
Why did we choose Kane and Wiley? Well, that was Majak's call, so I can't speak for the specifics of why. But if I had to guess, the answer would be something along the lines of, why not?
You know, given who Majak is, that's fair. That's completely fair. You're probably not able to say, but I'm shooting my shot anyway. Over the coming months, you guys ran into Wilson, son of Will, setting yourself back with an injury for a few weeks, but then you return in a different form. We haven't really seen much. In fact, I think the only time we've ever seen it was then and at Multivania. Is that what some would call your true form?
I believe you know it as the Reaper, I believe. It is not, in fact, my true form. My true form has been lost for now. The Reaper is a completely separate entity from myself. It acts on its own, it thinks for itself. Me and it have come to an agreement of sorts about a hold on my body and form. I do wonder sometimes what he's doing inside of me while I go around and do my job.
So the Reaper only comes out when it deems its appearance necessary?
Yeah, for the most part, it's up to itself. However, if I get overly emotional in any way, too angry, too happy, too sad, it's forced out.
So let's shift towards more current events with Doom versus APS. Majak and Seth Jackson were at odds with each other. What were your thoughts during that whole ordeal?
With Majak and Seth's little rivalry, I thought it was a real test of Seth's sanity. Considering how far Majak was to go, taking the Justice name and all, but Seth held on. I was a bit impressed. As for Doom vs. APS as a whole, it was annoying. I'm someone who uses magic a lot, of course, so having someone fight actively against that is a bit personal for me. That being said, it was Mike who reminded me and Majak of our goal, to get gold around our waists. And, well, we all saw how that ended. All thanks to Mike Davis of APS putting us on that track.
As well as adding Michael Macabre to your ranks as the third person in Doom. What was the general thought adding the Agent of the Apocalypse?
I thought it was a great addition. I remember when Michael first debuted on Flashbang. Both me and Majak took immediate interest in him. We waited and watched as he did his thing to get a good idea of him. The Monster Mash was the first time I was able to get up close and see him in person.
With Michael Macabre, you guys fought against APS with some alternate commentary.
Yes, but that commentary was dealt with.
Memes seem to have kick-started the faction warfare match, ultimately having Doom face VIP for the Trios titles, with you winning those belts. How does it feel to finally achieve gold after all of these years?
It feels very good. Prior to my return at Breakdown 2, I, of course, was gone for a while. During that time, I had to look at myself and really think. And the conclusion I came to was, I'm not just the Night Reaper anymore. I'm the Night Reaper Zherakas. I'm me. The Inquisition was gone, so why hide my real name? So when I came back, I wanted everyone to know who I was. I wanted everyone to know who Doom was. Winning the Trios Gold meant a lot to me. It means Doom is no longer the guys who almost got titles. We won the gold. We are not anyone's lackeys. We are the Trios champions. We are Doom. And I am 1/3 of Doom. I am the Night Reaper Zherakas.
With all this being said and done, as we are winding down here, is there anything that you would like to tell the Firing Line audience?
I'd like to say two things. Firstly, don't underestimate me because I'm only a Trios champion. I'm the Night Reaper Zherakas, and you will see me as more than just the other guy of Doom. And the last thing I want to say is more directed to the Trios of MNW who I know are watching. When you come for this gold, and I know you will come, you will learn why one of the most important MNW commandments is don't with Doom.
I would like to thank my guests for joining us, and if you would like to see Doom in action, please tune in to twitch.tv/Edward Bosco for Friday Night Flashbang, Fridays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This has been Joe, signing out.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The call out with Joe Mojo interviewing the Night Reaper Zherakas. That we've had him on the show before.
Yeah, and very easy person to talk to.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah. I will sure.
I mean, I just walked up to him and was like, "Hey, do you want an interview?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And we just got into the booth and got at it.
That's sure we've just maybe it's just been different context with us here on Firing Line, but I don't know whenever we end up getting contacted by Doom members, it seems to get a little strange in here. Is all. I'm nothing against them. They're great competitors. They're strong performers. It's just there's something about it. Maybe you just have the touch, Joe. Have the touch.
You might want to look at your phone there.
Do I have to? Oh, Jesus, Code D. Hang on.
Yep.
Let me press it. Hello?
Hello, Jerry.
Zherakas?
Greetings.
Zherakas. Well, interesting. I mean, we just played your interview. How are you?
I'm happy that the interview came out so well. I am sad that some of it was cut, but, well, those will remain secret.
Yeah, time constraints are a huge thing, especially with the show going on. Like what Jerry's like 3.5 hours usually.
3. In fact, we're gonna have to get moving here soon because Warzone returned this week. So Zherakas, I'll ask you really quickly. With the various teams that have been stepping up for the opportunity to challenge for the Trios Championship, of the 2 winners, who do you like?
Personally, I would like to go against Vaporwave. They have a very interesting dynamic.
All right. Cool. Do you have any idea who Mad Jack or Michael Macabre favor?
Well, I believe Mad Jack favored going against the Guild, but...
Yeah, yeah.
As for Mike, I'm unsure.
Oh, all right. So, so still, Zherakas, interesting. You favor Vaporwave. That could be a very interesting matchup. I'd certainly like to see that. Did it get colder in here?
Yeah.
Did someone say my name?
Hey, Magic.
Yeah. Sure. Yes, we did, Magic. I was asking who of the 2 winners of the from last week, who you favored, who you like to maybe would want to take on for the belts.
Oh, that's a good question. If I have to pick a winner, I would agree with my trio's tag partner. Vaporwave is very intriguing.
All right.
So that being said, there is a little bit of unfinished business with, well, Meme.
Okay, really?
I'm just saying we've never truly had Meme versus Doom, and now that we have the belts, maybe they'd like to man up.
You figure with like the chaotic energy that the guild actually presents, you would actually side with them, especially with the unbridled chaotic energy and whatnot.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I love the guild, and after we dispatch Meme, I would look forward to going 3-on-3 with Lesume, Zack DeWeaver, and the Curator.
All right. Well, there you have it. Thank you, Mad Jack and Night Reaper, for those insights into the future of the trio scene.
No, thank you, Jerry. Oh, we are missing one of our partners. Zherakas, would you do the honors?
Happily. Click. Doomsday.
Toodles.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, let's. That was
Doom.
Once again, sharing their information with us and their wisdom.
I won't lie, that kind of pops me every time.
You big Doom Mark?
A little bit, yeah. Wasn't really a fan during the Inquisition, but once they got to a Flashbang, we actually got to see more of who they were as like personalities. I just fell in love immediately.
All right. I mean, sure. I mean, here's the thing. The first ever tag match on Flashbang was Doom.
Yeah.
And they won. So, they have always been a crown jewel in the tag scene. I won't deny that. I won't deny their effectiveness. I won't deny the stunning victories. When they talk, it just was, it's the temperature.
I mean, you just got to go at it with zero fear.
Okay, CO mail.
Bring a coat.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much numb to it. I mean, you've seen the people I've talked to on a weekly basis. Like at this point, I'm kind of numb to it all.
I guess that's what makes you an effective MNW interviewer, there, Joe.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, we need to get the show on. You gonna hang out, or are you gonna go continue your nap?
I probably need some coffee.
Fair enough. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Joe Mojo. And let's roll on with the show. And with that, one more phone call. Let's make it quick. We'll make this call really quick because it's only fair. And then we do have to move on with the Warzone. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I just got from Phyllis on the phone. We have the Queen of Apex herself, Mizuki Napier.
Howdy, y'all.
Hi, Mizuki. So, Mizuki, we're really tight on time, so we need to make this one quick. What do you have for us this week?
Just to let you guys know that there's something big planned. And I am at the top of it.
Is this something tomorrow night or further out?
No, well, you'll have to tune in every time and see.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you, Mizuki.
Y'all have a good night now.
Thank you. All right. Well, something. Well, you know what? That makes sense with everything going on. That Apex would have something big on the plans. But
Hey,
with that,
is this it?
Is it what? Are you okay?
I'm being a shit.
Oh, okay. Well, with that, it's now a time to, for the first time in a while, let's turn our attention back to Warzone. So this wasn't a full regular episode of Warzone this last week, but what it was a special event to wrap up the Star Chip tournament stemming out of the Grand Battle event. Basically, the night was set up to finish up all of the competition to declare a battleground champion. But first, there was a couple other matches mixed in. Matches featuring some new wrestlers looking to make their name on the roster. People like Delinquent Son and Superstar. Looks like they were having a tag match against the Lone Lucha and the Unknown Lucha. And just really quickly with that match, that victory in that match went to the Luchas.
Yay, Luchas!
Yay, Luchas! So these two Luchas we know little about. One in that very quick exhibition match. Maybe we'll have a chance to learn more about this up and coming talent in the future. But in the meantime,
looking forward to that.
Yeah. In the meantime, before we get into the matches proper, remember, this is the Star Chip tournament where there was challenges and there was betting of points. And before we get into, we have the Warzone audio promo of the week that set up the first match of that tournament for this show.
Hello? Squatch, are you here? Took me an hour to find this place.
This one here, no door, so come on in.
Oh, well, thank you. First, I'd like to congratulate you on a true gauntlet of a match. That triple threat was a spectacle to see, and your bout with the beef was worthy of every second. So, master of the Squatch Roast Coffee, what do you say we have ourselves a one-on-one battle for 3 star chips?
I wanted to test strength against Thunder Thighs. If Squatch and Thunder Thighs are to test strength, then let's say winner is one who yeet opponent over top rope first.
Agreed. What better way to test out who's the biggest around here than seeing who can toss the other person out of the ring?
Yes, we shall see if Maximilian Thunder Thighs have big enough strength or beast or that this one is set free.
Unleash the beast, Squatch, for this Battlegrounds match is going to be the Beast versus the Behemoth. It's time for an over-the-top match, the Hoss Toss. And who's gonna win? The Behemoth or the Beast?
And with that, yep, we are going for the Hoss Toss match featuring Sasquatch Wing and Maximilian Thunder Thighs. And it's just what it sounds like. It's essentially a 2-man battle royal. You know,
Toss
whoever
the Hoss, toss the Hoss.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's whoever throws their opponent out over the top rope wins the match. And it's for 3 chips. I mean, this would radically change the makeup of the match. But also,
this is something that Max has been wanting to do for a while. He's been looking forward to being able to go all in.
Yeah, he really has. And with Squatch being one of the other big chip holders, he was this really was the perfect starting match for the entire event because it changed the stakes. It showed this was going to be more than just a simple match. And for unfortunately for Max, the owner of Squatch Roast Coffee was able to get the win. We heard he had prepped by having 10 cups of coffee, 10 cups of Squatch Roast before coming out to face Max.
Oh, and for reasons we'll get into later, that might have actually been a bit of an issue.
Possibly. Oh, hey, hang on. I'm seeing we got a call coming in. Hang on. Let's. Hello, caller. You're on firing line.
Yes. Hello. It's Maximilian Thunder Thighs.
Oh, Max. Yes, we were just looking at that match, the kickoff match of the Star Chip event.
I just wanted to say, did you know that I actually now I took up another sport?
I did not. What sport have you taken up?
Losing matches in record times.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Max, is that a competitive sport?
Only if you've lost a lot, and unfortunately, I'm very new to it because I don't lose that much. But I did want to say this, Squatch, you've earned that title, and you've earned so much. That match we had, although it was short, it was very, very fun. I look forward to seeing you in the future at the Battlegrounds. All
right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Maximilian Thunder Thighs. Thank you very much, Max, and give the best to the kids.
Also, root for me for the Nexus Titan Championship. All right, go on.
Always a treat, that Maximilian Thunder Thighs.
That what we're calling it now.
Sure. Let's go to the next match of the Star Chips. And this one, another one-on-one match featuring R. Sawyer taking on Nice Ice. This one was significant because, unless I am misremembering, after this one, this could eliminate one of the competitors.
I'm trying to recall. I don't think this match had quite. I think this match wasn't for an elimination yet.
Okay. It's
I think this. I want to say this was. Oh, it was. Okay. Okay. I deferred to Rosso teasing this.
Yeah,
match.
I believe that with this particular matchup should I want to say it was if they were so evenly matched in their chips that if Nice Ice lost the match, he would be out of the tournament. Mm-hmm. And also, it's worth pointing out, this was set up as a ladder match.
Nice Ice has got to get to his feet, folks. He's going to try
and get that.
That's where the 2 Starships are in.
And yeah, the briefcase representing those star chips on the line. But then Nice Ice just sort of froze.
Kind of glitched out.
Yeah, he was like he was going to go do something and then just
apparently forgot how ladders are knocked over.
Yeah, let's just say that at that point, since each man came into that match with only 1 star chip, so somebody was going to get eliminated. But at this point, there have been accusations of hacking. I will say
and
that
we've had problems with that before certainly in terms of the arena, where we've had problems with the music that have been results of hacking.
Well, and like I say, accusations. There's no proof. We're not sure that because Nice Ice is a cyborg that his behavior could be hacked. It could have just been a fact of he looked at it and went. It's hard to say. He could have just been overcome with ennui, for all we know. But either way,
ennui is pretty strong.
It is pretty strong. So, and with that, R. Sawyer is able to continue in the tournament with 2 chips. In the meantime, our next match was another exhibition match with 3 of the hopeful wrestlers on Warzone: the Unknown Soldier, the Unga Bunga, I guess he's a caveman who just does his own theme song, and then Mr. Butler, Ozir Turan's manservant. And
that he got from correctional facility.
Yeah.
Unga Bunga wins.
Unga Bunga wins, and thus we
Unga
have
Bunga.
to listen to that theme. I guess it's a theme song.
Unga Bunga, Unga Bunga.
I just,
Bunga.
I'm like, I'm hoping somebody comes forward and as a Christmas present gives him a theme song. But
I thought
yeah,
that was his theme song.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm being culturally insensitive.
Maybe
who know, from his tribe that
or
could
maybe
be,
the song's just really annoying.
I mean, you know what? Both can be true simultaneously. So the next matchup saw yet another one-on-one matchup. This being the Sentinel Sparrow taking on VIP's The Beef, and this one, not enough chips on the line in this one for a full elimination, but every match in the Star Chip tournament would matter because, of course, chips would be changing places. And since everyone knew this night the goal was to finish the tournament, people were making bigger and bigger bets. This also was interesting, though. We saw more just straight up, you know what? No special stipulations. We're just going to wrestle each other matches.
1v1 me, bro.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of people were just wanting to just be done with the craziness and just wrestle. Now, what we didn't play, and it was that Sparrow apparently challenged the Beef via drone.
Yes, so that is our understanding. Is he sent a drone to Beef, and Beef did not like it.
Yeah, and the drone did not survive the encounter.
R.I.P. drone.
Yeah, just poor drone. You know, I figure that's got to come out of the Sentinel's tech budget.
No, oddly enough, it's still the Hardys. Hardys still got to pay for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a heck of a deal.
It's grandfathered in through Vanguard 1.
Ah, I see. Well, either way, the Beef walks away with the victory. The Jersey Tiefling with the win. I don't think enough. I mean, everyone focuses on his VIP. I don't think enough people are focusing on his Tiefling heritage, which I think he himself has been downplaying of late.
That certainly seemed to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I'm not going to judge a man, but you know, it's far be it from me to tell a man how he will express his personal identity. So sure. That's fine. The next match, well, the winner of the first match of the night for the tournament, Sasquatch Wing, comes and he goes all in against the glorious Emperor Probanaga. With a if Squatch loses this match, he's out. If Probanaga loses, he's down to 1 chip.
Yep.
But this match wasn't any simple one fall match. No, they challenged each other to a 20-minute Iron Man match. For any audience members that need a refresher, an Iron Man match is where there is a set time limit, and the winner is whoever gets the most victories in that time frame by pinfall or submission. And this match, I mean, well fought, but I want to say, I don't remember the final tally, but I do recall it was 2-1 in Squatch's favor.
Well, and that was the story of the match, is that Sasquatch maintained a very healthy lead throughout this thing, but you'll notice in particular here, there was right around this moment that Probate actually cut open the Sasquatch Wing, and a lot of people are speculating that that this moment which he was cut open had an impact on him.
That it might have been blood rage.
Something along those lines, yes. But it was very noticeable that after he was cut open, he escalated himself very much in the match.
I think that's something we could end up calling the Ginger Boy effect.
Certainly.
So we're hearing reports from reports that it was Squatch had 7 victories in the match, and people are trying to remember if Probanaga had 4 or 3. Because in the latter half of the match, Probanaga did mount a revival and was determined to make up the difference. But in an Iron Man match, when you're getting down to the last few minutes, if you're at a big gap, that can be a very hard thing to close.
Well, and this is something that the announcer C- covered is that, as some people are aware, the Iron Man match is typically not 20 minutes. It's typically longer than that, 30.
Yeah, but there was still
so.
Go ahead.
And C- was bringing up the point that it was certainly debatable that if this had gone 30 minutes, we might have seen a different result.
This is true, and this is always the kind of calculus you have to do in these kind of matches. But still, in 20 minutes, there were 10 decisions, and all by pinfall. So there were 10 pinfalls in that match. 7 to Sasquatch Wing, 3 to Probanaga, and what happened next was a bit of a game changer. In that Probanaga, it was such a hard match, and between the bumps he took from Sasquatch Wing and just the amount of energy he utilized to try and mount his comeback, Probanaga determined that he was in no condition to continue with the tournament, and thus relinquished his final chip, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, there was one last match showcasing newcomers. Well, in this case, not as much newcomers, but still showcasing some talent looking to make a name for themselves. Interestingly, the first of those was the Latino Bee, Buck Bumble, one half of Bumblebee Tuna, taking on Nakama Worldwide's Depth Charge. And in this match, the victory went to Depth Charge and Nakama Worldwide. So with Depth Charge bringing that Big Daddy energy to the ring.
He's a beefy boy.
He is probably the beefiest boy in Nakama Worldwide when you think about it right now. You know, I guess Trashman Jones went, I need somebody beefier than me. It's like, well, and he found this guy wearing a diver's helmet. Great. But with that, so as we said, Probanaga relinquished his final star chips. And I want to say it was 2, or was it 1?
No, just 1.
Just 1. Okay. And the decision was that star chip would get thrown into the mix for the next match, which every one of the contenders in the next match all put in 1 star chip of their own. But then with Probanaga's chip meant there were 4 star chips up for grab in this match, featuring R. Sawyer, Sparrow, and the Beef.
Well, it's good. It's important to note that Sasquatch was not there. It actually took the staff at the Warzone Arena several minutes, a good bit of time to calm down Sasquatch Wing from that Probanaga match.
It's true. He got hyped up. Apparently, he had 6 more cups of coffee before that match. Considering it was an Iron Man match, he needed to caffeine up. And I'm hearing some interesting things about Squatch Roast. Squatch Roast coffee has a secret ingredient, I've found out.
Is it love?
It's more coffee. They infuse the coffee beans with more coffee beans. Don't know quite how it works, but it gives a single bean the power of 4 beans. So every single cup of Squatch Roast coffee has the total power of 4 cups of coffee, and Squatch had so far had 16 of those.
Impressive.
So yeah. It's and yet if we hear from Squatch, it's all organic. It's just secret Sasquatch growing methods. And we should point out, Sparrow won that. So Sparrow is now up, up 3 more chips, getting back their bet plus the 3 up for grabs, leaving R. Sawyer at a down to his last chip, and the Beef needing to beef up his standing if he wants to keep going in the tournament. And this led to our next matchup, and that being a fatal 4-way match against Sasquatch Wing, R. Sawyer, Sparrow, and the Beef, with increasing people get it with each one, even if you're only betting one chip at this point. Having so many competitors in means the winners are going to have a huge advantage moving forward in the tournament. Now, at this point, Sasquatch Wing was the clear leader, having won all his matches, big amounts of chips, getting that huge infusion from Maximilian Thunder Thighs right at the beginning, and everyone looking to play catch up with the Squatch. And of course,
the increasingly dominant Squatch. At this point, the lead that Squatch was getting over the others was becoming quite the insurmountable odds, it felt like.
It did. And, of course, R. Sawyer, having hanging over his head that a loss in this match would end his tournament dreams. And Beef, he himself was determined to keep going for, I think Beef still, even though he wasn't one of the holders of the Trios titles, still stinging on behalf of VIP of that loss to Doom.
Oh, sure.
So, of course, and Sparrow, same thing, wanting to get those points, keep moving forward. Because with a loss of this, Sparrow would be hanging by a thread. And one thing I think is worth noticing as we watch this match, while everything else is going on, everyone had their eyes on Squatch. I think by this point, it had become painfully clear that these Star Chip matches were favoring him, and everyone wanted to keep their eyes on because of the other victory for, like you said, his dominant lead at this point, a victory for Squatch in this match, and everyone else might as well just cash in their chips then and there.
Well, that was the thought on everybody's mind at coming up to this point in the tournament.
That's hanging on everyone. Especially, again, this is a fatal four-ways are such a any type of multi-man single fall match, because you have to worry about who you're fighting and what else is going on in the ring, especially once it gets past triple threat. You have to be fighting one person, but always knowing what's the status of the other people in the match. And, there's a lot of, you've got a former Big Oof champion in here. You've got a former world champion in here. But then you've got the up-and-comer Sparrow and the all-laud himself, Sasquatch Wing. In the end, it's just, at this point, it became just a match full of adrenaline. The audience going crazy. And everyone trying to get that victory, but the Beef, the Jersey Tiefling, made it to the victory and put himself in a position to actually be a challenge to Squatch.
Now, this, though, was the end for R. Sawyer.
It was, and we have that on social media. All R. Sawyer will say on this one is that he hated Sparrow in this match. But where this led to, by this time, all right, we're now down to 3. So that leads us into a triple threat match of the remaining competitors. And they get 3 chips online, and with and of course this being do or die for Sparrow. Sparrow has to win this match or is out of the tournament. Of course, either the Beef or Squatch would love to get a match to solidify which of them is going to be going into a possible final match with the advantage.
Well, and let's be honest, at this point, Sasquatch is really just playing spoiler. There's no real risk of him if he were to lose this match.
No, but on the other hand, if he wins, it gets back to that level of dominance that is going to be impossible to, how do you overcome? But then if the Beef wins, he and Squatch flip positions.
Yeah.
And he has the advantage going into a finals match. And as we said, for Sparrow here, I mean, this pinfall had to be a nail biter for him because he has to win this match. To win this match.
And we see here Beef actually getting these brass knuckles out, getting it by the referee who didn't see it apparently.
Yeah, except that I think his opponents had it scouted well enough. He got the brass knuckles out, but never had an opportunity to actually use them. So it's one of those, yeah. And that's some flexing from Squatch, dropping Sparrow onto the Beef.
Yeah.
And getting the victory. So this means that in the next match, it would be the Beef versus Squatch. But it was determined it would be an all-in match. But if Beef wins, there would have to be at least one more match. If Squatch wins, though, that's it. It's for all the cards. And so here they come. And this is, the event this day began with a hoss fight, and it ended with a hoss fight. And this the All Odds versus VIP, but also, as we had stated earlier, the Beef, former Big Oof champion, Squatch, has never had, as he put it, never had a chance at the shiny belt.
Yeah.
So they're both, but you've got to keep in mind, if you look at the statistics for this particular tournament, ultimately you have Sasquatch Wing having come away with a total of 3 victories at this point, and the Beef having come away with a total of 2 victories.
Again, folks.
So, I mean, good showings on both their parts, enough to get them to this point. But the momentum, and from the beginnings, from that decisive victory against Maximilian Thunderthighs, Sasquatch Wing there was a feeling, and the crowd was just behind him the whole time. And with that, and that final victory, and just straight, clean, the member of the All Odds, Sasquatch Wing, wins the Battleground tournament. He wins all the star chips, and his partner,
he's here with the belt presentation.
Yep, being led by his partner in the All Odds, Raphael Sampson. Out comes the man himself, well, the beast himself, as Maximilian would say, Sasquatch Wing, wearing the Battleground Championship. Now, Pete, this championship isn't like any other championship in MNW. It's not one that can just be put up in regular competition.
That is correct.
So what the conditions for holding the Battleground belt are: the next time there is a grand battle event, Sasquatch Wing will have a distinct advantage of being able to enter each battle royal at the coveted number 30 position. So you're giving somebody who's already shown a ability to be dominant in multi-man situations, shown to do well in these type of matches, is going to be able to go into them with the best advantage you can have. Because my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, While there may be some rethinking about how many star chips are given out at after winning a battle royal at Battleground, it is still possible to win multiple Battleground matches.
I believe that is correct.
And thus, I mean, it could that if he wins multiple, it could give the All-Lord a distinct advantage come the next time you get into competition for the star chips. So it's now we are hearing from the All-Lord camp that to keep in mind, Squatch did come in 25 before winning his match. It is pointed out, maybe in a moment of needed humility, pointing out it is entirely possible that someone could take him out. Now I'm trying to find. Do you remember when was the Battleground, Pete? Do you remember what time of year it was? And I asked that question because I want to check something on the records, but I have to find the Battleground record.
Our bookkeeper is saying October 11th.
October 11th. Let me look in that section of the book. Thank you, Carla. I want to find. There we go. October 11th. No, that is. I'm seeing October 11th as a regular Warzone. Maybe it was put under... yeah, I'm trying to find the... Maybe it's under tournaments.
Oh, okay. Turns out it was October 15th.
Okay. All right. Let me look at that one then. I have a reason I'm doing this, folks. It'll make sense here in just una moment.
It's in Warzone Miscellaneous.
Aha. Thank you. This is why we have a bookkeeper. Warzone Miscellaneous. Grand Battle. Yes, there it is. All right. So here's what I'm looking for. I want to look back at some of the statistics of the number of eliminations. These are numbers to think about. Now, obviously, this says nothing about who ultimately goes on to win. But I will remind everyone, in the Grand Battle, you had, for eliminations between all matches, Maximilian Thunderthighs eliminated a total of 18 competitors, followed by Jungos eliminating 16. Then Forrest T. Wade eliminated 9. And McMorgan eliminated 8. Now, let's point out that 2 of those men did not win any of their respective Battleground matches, but still good performances. Then you had the Blue Dandy, who had to leave the tournament with 7, as well as Grizzly Adams. 6 eliminations each by Nice Ice, Carnival, Defunct, and Strongman Bell, with, of course, Nice Ice winning one of the matches. 5 eliminations by Raphael Sampson, Flame Revenant, The Beef, CJR Killer, Convict 311, now known as Hightower, Daggerick, and the Revenant. Sasquatch Wing was in the 4 elimination group and yet still won his match. Probanaga also managed to eliminate 4 and win, as did R. Sawyer. So right now we're sort of beginning to see, seems like people who managed to get 4 eliminations at least did well enough where they came in to win matches. The other 4 eliminators are Gorewheel, Buck Bumble, Wonderball, Burnout Vaughn, Daverman, Sir Unkley Dunk, Laid High Rolled, now known as Captain Quebec, Zacko Duo, Absolute Washington, and Bart Ender. And after that, then we get into larger numbers. I won't get into that. But that is who each of the winners are. Looking at positions of the winners, one other statistic, just to think about how things will look. Nice Ice won the first match, and he came in at number 21. The Beef also came in at number 21 in the second match that he won. Probanaga won the third match, coming in at number 27. Sasquatch Wing, as was stated earlier, came in at number 25 in his match. Maximilian Thunder Thighs actually had the most endurance for winning a match. He won after coming in at number 15. And the Blue Dandy had come in at the coveted number 30 spot to win his match. Our Sawyer also came in at number 30 to win his match. And then finally, Sparrow came in at number 27. So I would say statistically, with Max being the outlier, coming in the bottom 10 does seem to increase your odds of winning. So there you have it. So things to keep in mind next time the Grand Battle Tournament comes around. We do know from the brass there is thoughts of revamping how the tournament goes, how the rules are applied to make things run smoother next time.
Yep.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to a wrap-up point for this week's edition of MNW Firing Line. For Pete McPherson and Joe Mojo, I'm Jerry Aldini.
Wait a second, Jerry. I don't think we hit the Warzone moment of the week.
You're right, Pete. I got so excited, I forgot. Yeah, the Warzone moment of the week. Let's hit it.
Kick out at 2. Probanaga still in it. Ladies, and this match kept going. If this match kept going, ladies and gentlemen, it might be a tie. But it was agreed upon 20 minutes. But Probanaga stands high. Win. Thank you so much for the 13-month resub. 100 bits for the big guy.
All right. Well, there we go. All right. Well, now I think
we felt that that match in particular was the turning point for Squatch, at which point people were seriously starting to get concerned about how he was, how aggressive he was during this night.
You know what I'd like to know, especially after everything we've learned about Squatch Roast Coffee? How many cups did he have throughout the night?
Oh, and see, I was concerned of the opposite, not having too much, but he didn't have enough, so he was going through caffeine withdrawal.
Ooh, boy.
I will tell you, those caffeine headaches are a bitch.
That's true. It's true. And I think our Sawyer, how many cups? Yes. Yeah. Well, with that, I think we're at a good wrap-up point for the evening. So once again, for Pete McPherson and Joe Mojo, I'm Jerry Aldini. Thank you all, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night, everyone. And now we're above game.
And scene.
Oh, boy. Wow, you know, I love my new job, but today was busy. I didn't realize how tired I was. But looking back at the number of small technical difficulties we had. Yes, I did, Carla. Hang on, let me get that set up. Yeah, I'm going to start out with something. As many of you know, one of the cornerstones of our community is the Draco family.
Yes,
Mama Draco and the boys, Drew and Bareback. And they've been going through a rough time of late. They've got themselves in through, I would say, very, very little fault of their own, into a rough situation. And so a friend of theirs has set up a GoFundMe to get them some backing to help get them out of their current situation. If you look in the comment section, Storytellers Apprentice has put the link to the GoFundMe. Can we on YouTube? Can we get away with putting the GoFundMe in the link?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's going to be a tricky one. So
The only issue is, of course, is that it would not make sense after the GoFundMe ends.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so for people who are getting this relatively after, I would say you can check the VOD here for the GoFundMe, or if you're on the MNW Discord, Carla has put the GoFundMe in strategic places. I think we'll be calling this out. I'm hoping this will get called out on the other shows this week. But if you can spare some time to reach out and help these folks who've really been supportive of our community, it would be great. So let's see what we can do to help them out, and we will go from there. If you go on to the MNW Discord and go into the promotions channel, you will find the link to that, and we will do what we can to get the word out. Okay, so this was an interesting week.
Yeah, well, and I mean, for those that are unaware, this was, of course, the first Warzone back. I was back on the show last week, but we hadn't had any Warzone yet, so this was the first firing line back where I actually had footage to edit. So,
and I want to put this out to the audience if they want to let us know. One of the decisions we made during our production meeting this week, there was the question of, so obviously between matches there were, and we were trying to keep it when we were in character, not pointing it out, but in between the Starship matches, the other matches were NPC matches. All matches with characters that don't currently have owners.
Several of them have potential owners, but because as was the case from last week, there were several people that have expressed interest in some of the characters, but nothing has been finalized.
Yeah. So we were saying, well, how are we going to handle these? And our decision was, if the whole match features characters that don't have any players behind them, we'll acknowledge the matches. We'll show the entrances and the finish, but we're not going to devote a lot of airtime.
Well, and specifically in this case, because these were not dark matches, as is sometimes the case, these were in canon, so to speak, matches, but they just didn't have anybody tied to them. So, in our defense, hey, we did it because nobody was going to complain.
Yeah, I mean, basically
nobody to complain. So,
yeah. I mean, somebody could complain, but it was But really, anyway, yeah. So, that was just how we decided to handle that. Other than that, I a good ending. I will say that in everything where I was, especially in the VC call, the audience was mostly behind Squatch as things moved on, but I mean, there were people pulling for all kinds of characters. I mean, there was a healthy contingent for the beef.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say there was,
and as we talked about on the show, Taka has said that he considers this a success in that he has taken away notes from this and is recognizing what did and didn't work.
Yeah.
So he admitted that he was a little too passive in the setting up the matches, kind of wanting to wait until other people booked matches instead. And so I think, like I said, a lot of takeaways, and I think all in all, it turned out pretty well. And I don't think anybody's going to argue about Sasquatch Wing getting the belt.
No, I think the biggest thing I got from it, and it's part of what he was saying, what Taka was saying, was just the whole thing just took too long.
Yeah.
And so any, I would say any tweaks to the process would be to tighten it. And I know I threw out to you, and I also mentioned it to Bosco, what my suggestions would be to tighten it up. And I know one of my suggestions was echoed by a lot of people, and that was maybe in the future, if you want to have specialty matches, it can't just be betting one chip.
No, possibly.
I mean, my other suggestion was just have, if you win a battleground, great, you got one chip from that. Give out fewer chips and make the price for anything other than a one fall match steeper, and you probably solve the problem of it taking too long.
Possibly.
Yeah, and that's just my take. I mean, that's just how from my point of view, I would tighten it up, because I think those were the two factors that probably lengthened it the most. That and honestly, I do feel a lot of people were just betting conservatively.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing, and we had a couple of people, Max in particular, who was a little more gung ho, but he was the exception to the rule, I'd say.
And I think our Sawyer's Rosa's making a good suggestion in the chat of, make a special channel, kind of like we have a production office channel for Firing Line and YouTube that is really only accessible to, any mod can get into it, but also to Tim, myself. It's mostly used by Tim, myself, Off-Key Lime, and Bosco to have some behind-the-scenes communication set up the show. Having something similar set up for the Starship contenders so they can have some behind-the-scenes negotiations without everyone else being privy to it would probably be a good thing. Rising Blind System Squatch is another good one. Every round, the minimum bet goes higher. I mean, these are all good. These are all, like I say, there's a lot of ways to tweak it. But I would say in the end, the overall wrap up of the experiment was a success.
Yeah.
I will say this because overall, I think, other than it taking too long, and Kurt's right, he was probably a little too passive. I think the overall experience was a pretty good one. I mean, the Battleground event itself, I said so when we covered it when it first happened, because I was dubious. I was like, really? 8 Royal Rumbles? That's going to get, I was going, that's going to get repetitive, I think, in the end. And boy, was I wrong. There's something about how he set it up that there were stakes in each one. And the nature of a Rumble itself, he was going to do it over 2 nights, but people were so engaged. It just, okay, let's get it done in one night, and it flew. So if he's planning on doing another one of those future, I'm saying go for it. The last one was great. And then, just tweak the afterward, the tournament that follows to tighten it up. And she got a winning formula. And as we said there, if you do it in one of those ways, the Squatch having that belt, the victory condition of the belt, would matter. So I'm overall happy, and I think it was a success.
Yep.
I mean, that's also what happens when you leave it to people. I mean, it was an unexpected swerve, but Rosso with Probanaga dropping out the way he did. On the other hand, I think it plays up the strength of it. It was a player decision that had a direct effect on the narrative, which was Kurt's point in the first place. And also, hey, what timing? Thank you to Probate for the 10-month resubscribe at tier 3. Thank you, Probate. And what Probate is saying in response, I thought it would have made an interesting role-playing point. And I think you're right. It did. I mean,
I think it did.
It really changed the narrative. One, it suddenly made the next match far more interesting. Plus, it gives an entire field of potential role play over the next few shows of, okay, well, what condition is Probanaga in if he felt he had to... Now, I was trying to sell a little bit about, it was a combination of the bumps and the amount of energy he put out Obviously, you've got your own ideas, Probate, on how you want to do it. But it did the potential.
Well, I think that's the important part, and one of the biggest struggles that we all deal with in this is that we all have a different take on it, and ultimately there's only going to be one telling of it. And
sure, and it was well, Rosso. I think that's a good point, though. Rosso saying it was the timing threw him. That's not a bad thing. Again, if you come down to this was the players getting to make actual relevant decisions to throw it. It was a great role-playing twist. I mean, it even threw Kurt, which was great. But then the players themselves, because Probate didn't dictate how you use that next chip. He was just saying he threw it up. And then the players themselves had the idea of, let's have a fatal three-way with that extra chip in the mix, which was a game changer. Honestly, considering who won, it actually led ultimately to the final match of the tournament. So I think that's another case to look at this entire endeavor as it may be have been a work in progress that needs some tweaking, but I would still ultimately chalk it up to a success. Yeah, and Probate makes another great point. It helped make Squatch look really strong. Yeah, and I think it made a lot of those players. I don't think anyone who was participating in that tournament comes away looking weak because they got there. After just in the way they got there. I mean, everything we were just talking about the statistics and how well everyone did to win their Royal Rumbles in the first place. So, yeah, no, this was a great match, and it's now something that it's something that the 8 competitors can say we are the elite 8 that got to do this thing. And it's something that could play to a lot of story going into the future, depending on how it's handled. So I'm thoroughly, personally, as somebody who has to examine this stuff and talk about it, I will be willing to say, though, this was a good experiment and is definitely one I would like to see, maybe, as was pointed out by when we were looking at the book on this from Carla, I would absolutely want to see the Battleground event now as an annual MNW event. I would honestly say, because the way I think about the hierarchy of actual pay-per-views. So to me, the 2 big pay-per-views for WWE every year are the obviously WrestleMania, but to me the other big one is the Royal Rumble. And that's because it does mix things up. So with the Battleground event happening in October, I would say next October, I would love to see another Battleground event and see another case of 8 more Battle Royals, and let's see what happens. So that's my take. It was great, and I want to see more.
And I think that this did its job in doing both, providing the obvious entertainment, but also at kind of a stress test, for lack of better words, to see where the difficulties in that system lie.
Yeah. And Rosso, to your next question, so will it be Squatch and 7 others, or will it be 8 contenders with Scott? So my understanding, what I read from what Kurt said, is the belt gives Squatch an advantage in the next Battleground event in that he gets to come in at the end of every Royal Rumble during the Battleground event at 30. It is entirely possible for him to lose all 8 Royal Rumbles and come away with no start chips, giving him no chance of retaining the belt. But coming in at 30, he's got great odds in winning at least one of them and having some chips. So it doesn't affect him in the star chip portion of the tournament. It only gives him a boost in the actual Battleground portion of the tournament. least that is my understanding from what Kurt explained. Now, Kurt could redefine it so that maybe what you're talking about is true. I don't know. But
well, and that's the other thing to keep in mind, is because just as we were saying, we are looking at things being shifted a bit. So now, as to how drastic of a difference it will be, it's no way of knowing.
Yeah.
But as our current understanding is, as Caliban said.
Yeah. So that's where we stand. So you know what? So we've been talking a lot about, because we just saw it and it was a huge ending. But let's talk about some of the other stuff we know is coming down the pike.
Yes.
And that is the flipping of the Interdimensional Championship and the Trios Championship. And by flipping, I mean they've switched shows.
They have.
So what I know is this. So the Trios belt, a lot of this, I don't want to give away too much. I'm parsing what I know from what Bosco told me versus what I feel is probably available to be public knowledge. I will say it is certainly how it is going to be for now. The Trios belt will be defended on Flashbang. And part of that is there's a lot of trios on Flashbang, and it gives a chance to tell that story for a while other things are happening on Warzone. And at the same time, we know that with Citric King holding the interdimensional belt, he is still a Warzone wrestler. But the interdimensional belt stipulation still holds, and that is that it can be defended across the multiverse. So this means since he is a wrestler, since Citric King has versions on other shows, we could see wrestlers from other shows come to challenge him. And that includes Flashbang. You know, it's the belt that crosses realities and usual lines. So there's a lot of possibility. We'll just have to see what happens. The other things I currently know, and just, you know, Bosco was exhausted tonight. And so he, you know, was like, Bosco, he came in a couple of times when, you know, it was appropriate. But for the most part, he's been resting tonight because he deserves it. I will reiterate some other stuff we know because we've talked about it previously. Next pay-per-view, at least for Flashbang, the next pay-per-view will be Multivania. Tim, have you heard, does Kurt have any plans for any pay-per-views between now and Multivania?
I am unaware of any. I do not know yay or nay.
Okay, so maybe, but we don't know. Multivania will be in July again.
That is cool.
So the last we heard is the draft is still going on, and that there will, in all likelihood, be one more draft trade before Multivania. But at Multivania, that should end the draft. And
right. Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
And that between now and then, there will still be the potential of some cross-show matches.
Right. But the big thing is the big takeaway is that by WrestleMania or Multivania, things should be pretty well wrapped up in terms of the roster shift.
Right. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, because this happened, no significant information, but we do know that the next WWE 2K game, 2K22, I guess, is going to be coming out this year around the normal time, around October, which means we are looking at the shutdown of the 2019 servers in the near future, or in the future. It is coming. I guess and of course the question on everyone's lips is 2K20 going to be any good? We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, and yeah, I don't think anyone's going to jump until the murder cave takes a look at it. I think a lot of people were burned and are like, oh, I'll hold off and pre-order and wait to see what the experts say.
Indeed.
So yeah, but that's just the other thing to keep in mind. We've got that coming up. That's another reason why I think that we want to get the rosters settled out, because if 2K22 is crap, we're going to stick with 2K19. There were plans last year. There were plans with 2K20 that if 2K20 was bad and they had shut down the servers, there were plans on how to keep things alive. Fortunately, there was the recognition by 2K that 2K20 was crap, and they would just keep the servers open until there was a new, actual functioning new game. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, and we also do have the potentials of the whatever AEW is doing. So far, we haven't seen a whole lot from them. We've seen some developmental footage, but
and so what I've heard, we're probably about 2 years away, by people's estimation, or at least a year and a half away from anything. And I know people have not been thrilled with what they saw of the demo footage, of the promo footage, but we don't know if that's final, what the game's going to finally look like or not. So I think at this point we're going to wait until games actually come out before there's any determination.
Well, like you said, we certainly need to see more from everything. I mean, I think we've gotten to see a bit more from 2K22 than we have from AEW. So there's that, but we still need a lot more.
Yeah,
before we make any decisions.
And we don't know, because one of the things that's made the 2K series work so well is how well it lets us create cause.
Sure.
I mean, who knows if the AEW game could handle the shenanigans that allow characters like Nero Napier or the Inquisition members, or
right.
Or even, I mean, even just some of the characters we've had around for a long time. We don't know if we're going to be able to do tieflings or Sasquatches or anything like that. So
we shall have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see. That's what the future holds. So I guess what it is coming down to, one of the goals is to try and, from what I said, see if we can get a fairly stable look at the rosters going out of Multimania, and then we'll see where we go from there. All right. So with that, since we're just sort of and of course I'm keeping an eye on chat, see if anyone has any other points or any other questions.
I mean, we don't have anything nailed down for it yet, but we could talk about some of what we've thought about trying to put in the works in terms of another YouTube workshop or stuff like that.
All right. So we're working. I'm kind of hoping that we'll get a chance. I want to talk to Off Key Lime this weekend when we have our normal YouTube meeting. What I like to do now that we're past a lot of stuff is I want to lock down the date of our next YouTube live stream. And the goal of this is to have another promo live stream where we examine specifically the face heel dynamic and what it takes to be a good face, what it takes to be a good heel, and what it
Are
takes...
you a heel cutting a face promo? Are you a face cutting a heel promo?
Yeah, because we actually had problems with that. And, to discuss what an actual tweener is and why they are rare.
And need to be.
Yeah, and what that means. We've been talking to some people about that, but a lot of it is up in the air until we set a date. So I think I want to sit down with Lime and just hash out all right, here's going to be the date, and let's get together who we need to get together to make this thing happen.
That is a goal of ours. Is just like with the last workshop that we do, that we include some of the people with more experience in these things to give their advice and their feedback and answer questions that come up when these things happen.
Yeah. So we got that. Got the YouTube channel. Hey, let's go ahead and put that GoFundMe link in the chat again.
I can do that.
Just because, again, we got a GoFundMe set up for the Draco family. They're in kind of a rough spot, and so there's an effort to raise some funds to get them out of that rough spot. So, and again, for the YouTube audience, since we're unsure about the legalities, we're not going to put the link in the YouTube. But if anyone's on the MNW Discord, you can go to the promotions, not the promo, but the promotions section. And Carla has posted the link there as well. Let's see if we can help these pillars of our community out of a rough situation. And let's see, what else do we got? Kurt posted the card, didn't he?
What is it?
I think Kurt posted the card.
Yes, he did.
Let's talk about the card
Yes,
for Bosco. All we know is the storylines will be continuing. We'll probably see more of the trios.
Okay, I'm ready. What do you?
But even when he's on the show, we only get little tidbits, so that's fair. We'll learn more tomorrow.
All right. So the card as it stands, subject to change.
Yes.
Juan versus Sparrow versus Whitney Lee, one fall match.
Right.
We have Papusa PI and Anon and Schmuck and Daggerick versus High Voltage, one fall match. Sir McCheese versus R. Sawyer, one fall match. Nakama Worldwide, Power Surge and Depth Charge versus Conquest Bloodline, Feel Good Inc. and Gorm, and a one fall match. Raphael Sampson versus Theron Eldrazi, one fall. Daverman versus Carnival versus Kane 8602 versus Sir Uncle Dunk versus Malice versus Ozir Turan versus Glaciris versus Bart Ender. Money in the Bank ladder match.
Aha.
Ho ho. Burnouts Wastelanders versus Probanaga and Eastern Block Party, one fall match. Mega Blitz versus Rapture for the Big Oof Championship title, one fall. Chained Hell versus the Absolute Units versus Los Belbros versus UK Spitfires, MNW Tag Team Championship elimination match. Let's see, we have Trashman Jones versus Suplex Sam in a Falls Count Anywhere Warpgate Hardcore Championship match. Fear Strikes versus Jungos versus Louis McDonald versus The Beef versus Maximilian Thunder Thighs Nexus Titan Championship one fall match. And we have Zacho Duo versus Semjax versus Justice Jake versus Trice versus Alpha Kong versus Work Rate Wilson, son of Will, for the MNW World Heavyweight Champion #1 contendership match. One fall.
And that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So there you have it. That is what is coming up this weekend on Warzone. And of course, tomorrow night is Friday Night Flashbang. And we will see where we go from all the stuff we covered tonight. So with that, you know what that means? It's the shilling time.
It is. So, I have managed to start streaming again somewhat. I'm working on it. You can find me streaming over at twitch.tv/Storytellers Apprentice. Currently, I am starting a playthrough of Xenogears, colloquially known as Xenogears 2.0. It is a fan modification that brings the Japanese dialogue to the cutscenes and makes a few translation fixes, and yeah, it's a favorite game of mine. And the next time that I do a stream with that, I'll announce it over at Twitter, Storytellers AP2.
All right, and right here at twitch.tv/Dr_Caliban, that's Dr_Caliban. On Monday, we are going to continue our playthrough of Evil Genius 2 World Domination. I'm currently playing through with the Evil Genius Ivan, voiced by British acting legend Brian Blessed, and his rocket launcher. On Wednesdays, of course, Storytellers, Apprentice, and I will come together for the Flag and Dragons, the crew that is true, where we play co-op games with Corporal Canada and Donkey Kang. I'm looking at Tabletop Simulator like Canada suggested.
Oh, you mean suggested as in guys?
I wasn't going to say begging. I mean, it was begging, but I wasn't going to say it. But now here we are. Yeah, and then of course here next Thursday for MNW Firing Line, your guide to Multiverse Nexus Wrestling, where we will continue to bring you the best coverage you're going to get on MNW. Alrighty, with that,
kind of cornered the market.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I would still love to see another show that maybe covers some of the other. I'd love to see a Firing Line style show for Maelstrom. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing something for like CDW or UCW as well, or any of our other shows. I think there's room for it. I think people could have fun with that. Imagine a show for the Maelstrom. Just imagine it for a second, and then let the headache just pass over you, and then it'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Just embrace the fear.
Why do you think we ain't doing it?
There's a reason. Ow.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Multiverse Nexus Wrestling YouTube channel. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and ring that bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. This has been Joe, signing out.